I like beer cause it is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad.
Today's featured brewery as part of Asheville Beer Week is Nantahala out of Bryson City. We've got Joe and Amber here with me and some beers that they brought. Did she get the memo?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Two of them will be tasting, and we'll be talking a little bit about your brewery out there in Bryson City, celebrating, as we can see, your 4th anniversary.
4 years.
Fantastic.
It's hard to believe. It's been 4 years. I feel like we just started building the brewery like a year ago, or maybe it was 10 years ago. It's sort of hard to remember.
We lost all sense of time inside the brewery.
There's been some beer drank in that time too, which tends to kill some brain cells. Just a few. If you're looking for Nantahala Brewery and you know where the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad is, you can find these guys real easy. You're like within a stone's throw.
Yeah, it's right across the street from the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad. So Bryson City is only about 1,500 people. It's a really small town, way out about an hour west of Asheville in North Carolina, not in Tennessee. And you can't miss us. You just roll into town and ask anybody where the brewery is. You don't even have to tell them our name, and they're going to send you in the right direction.
Because you're the only one in Bryson City.
We're the only one in Bryson City.
Correct, yeah.
There's a few about 30 miles further towards Asheville and
Silva,
yeah.
right.
There's a couple of new ones over there too, actually.
And Waynesville, so you could actually make a trek where you maybe went out to Bryson City and then Silva and Waynesville and did that kind of that beer connection right there. Let's open up the 4th anniversary. Or this one first, you said.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to kill the taste buds with the hoppiness.
Yes.
The extreme hoppiness of the 4th anniversary. Tell me about Trail Magic.
Trail Magic was the first limited release series that we started. We started it back 3 years ago. When our brewmaster Greg Geiger took over brewing all of our beer. It's a concept that is, that is unique to the long trails across the country. So the AT, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail. It's essentially random acts of kindness that occur on the trail by people who come out, and a lot of times they just leave soda or simple things like that, but sometimes they also will go out and pitch up a tent, put a grill out there, and start making hamburgers and hot dogs, and every single thru hiker that comes through, they feed them and take care of them. And so we thought, well, if we have a random series of limited release beers, that Trail Magic would be the name we'd go with. And we were sort of dumbfounded that no other brewery, at least along the AT, had ever used the name, so we got really lucky and we're able to pick it up. And this was the first style we ever brewed. So it's a barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout. And what makes it really unique is we make 2 batches. The first batch is aged in barrels for 3 to 4 months. And then the second batch we create is hoppier and roastier than the first. Most people don't know this, but spirit barrels completely eliminate hop flavor and roast flavor.
Okay.
So we make that second batch so it kind of brings those flavors back. And then just like the distillers, we blend it to taste. And that way we don't end up with carbonated bourbon, because around our parts, if you want to drink liquor or bourbon, you just go drink bourbon. Yeah. But the unique flavors that came out of it were what we wanted to capture, and it was so popular that when we announced that the series was going to be different in each one of the beers every year, it's 3 times a year, so March, June, and October, which pretty much correlate to the beginning, the middle point, and the end of through hiking the AT.
Right.
And so we thought, well, they'll all be random. And as soon as we made that announcement, we had some very angry customers who said, if you don't ever make that Russian Imperial Stout again, we're not going to drink your beer.
We're very upset.
You're pouring oil from the top of the brewery on top of them there.
Pretty much. So we decided to keep that one. And actually next year we're probably going to spin it off as its own brand, because we know we're going to make it from now on. One of the kind of unique thing about Trail Magic for us is that every single one of them, there's a criteria for it. It's got to be high gravity. It's got to also have local ingredients in it. So in this we use wildflower honey from about a mile from the brewery.
Nice.
We use sorghum, which is the traditional sweetener. It's like molasses, but it's what's made out in our neck of the woods and has been for centuries. So we use that in the beer too. And you actually would find sorghum in the traditional root beers that were brewed, way back before there was civilization out there. So pretty good. And actually it really complements the bourbon flavor and the vanilla that we get out of the barrels. So
let's see what the fuss is all about. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Might as well start off the day with drinking high gravity beer.
Heck yeah. Ooh, that is thick and delicious, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a full meal right there.
It really is. You get a knife and a
Lunch.
fork and, enjoy this. This is really, really good. By the way, this glass that I'm using right here, somebody's going to win this, and I promise I will clean it before you pick up your glass. Is 2 glasses, couple of T-shirts, nice little bottle opener, and a patch out there. Now, I imagine some Appalachian Trail hikers might even put that on a backpack or something along those
that's
lines.
why we got them. We get a lot of bike riders out there, too, for the Tail of the Dragon, which is a real popular place.
Real popular
to ride.
motorcycles and things of that
There's
nature.
a few other roads, too. And so we started doing them back 3 or 4 years ago when folks kept coming in going, you have patches for my my vest or my jacket? And we're like, sure, we'll get some of those.
I actually proposed to my wife on a portion of the Appalachian Trail at Max Patch.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, we didn't hike very far. We just went to the top and then
You don't have to go too far. I
came
was out
back
there last
down.
weekend, actually.
I did have a backpack with me, though. That was for the champagne.
Right,
See,
the important stuff.
I planned it all out.
This is Trail Magic in name and in practice. We do take from time to time. We take some of it out to the through hikers.
Do you?
We
Yeah.
do.
Oh, that must be a nice welcome surprise to them. I would imagine after a long hike, they have a nice, delicious cold beer.
It's pretty cool. And it's definitely helped us sort of expand our brand. We were so close. We're one of the closest breweries to the AT. You got to go up into Vermont, I believe, to get to a brewery that's closer. So
Let's talk about your offerings that you're going to have at the Beer City Festival. While I pour this one and we sample another.
Yep, we will have our IPA, of course, because we don't want to have a riot, which is our Noonday IPA.
Noonday
it's so
IPA.
popular. It doesn't make its way to Asheville that often anymore, especially during the season. But
Do you want to tell them why it's called Noonday?
yeah, Noonday, because Nantahala means land of the noonday sun.
Aha!
And it's the very narrow gorge out in our neck of the woods, about 12 miles from the brewery, that people raft and go kayaking down or just hang out on the side of and fish and drink beer. So we'll have that.
The little
We'll
ones.
have our Dirty Girl Blonde, which is our blonde ale we make, sort of a gateway beer.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure we'll have 4 Foot Drop, which is another pale ale we make, probably the Bryson City Brown. And after that, for Beer City, we always take the June Trail Magic release. Because the following weekend, which will be the 6th and 7th this year, is the June release for Trail Magic.
For the record, I could smell the hops when I was pouring this.
I can smell them from
It's got
here.
a
Which is a
great
good sign.
nose. It's got a great nose, yeah. It'd be disappointing with
Wow.
45 pounds if you couldn't smell it right out of the bottle.
45 pounds.
45 pounds of hops.
In this glass, you said. 45 pounds of...
And
Yeah,
just
in
in
this
that
glass,
half
or
pint.
that's
I don't know where the rest went. You have it all in there.
Smells fantastic.
This beer is like our Noonday IPA on steroids.
It really is. Thankfully, I'm not being tested anytime soon.
Yes.
Ineligible for the next draft. But this is really, really good. As a hophead, man, this is right up my alley. I
It's
could
got
drink a
Simcoe
bunch of
hops
this.
in it, which is sort of our throwback to the Noonday because it's primarily Simcoe hops we put into our Noonday IPA.
There's that grapefruit note a little
Yep,
bit there.
grapefruit. It's whole leaf hops that we use too, and we did the same thing in this. And then our 4 Foot Drop, which we won Best of Show at the Hickory Hops Carolina Championship of Beer last year, and it's just a sessionable 4.5% pale ale. But when you drink it, it's got so much hop flavor you wouldn't realize that it's only 4.5%. That beer is so popular, and we use Galaxy hops from Australia in that beer. So that's pretty much the 2 hops that we took. They're 2 of our favorite hops. And we put them together in this. And our High Gravity series, to kind of give you an idea where this whole concept came from, we have the 4 Foot Drop, which is the sessionable pale, our Noonday IPA, which is around 6%, and then the 8 Foot Drop, which is the double IPA we normally make. We make it in the summer. It never makes its way outside of the brewery because it's consumed within the 2-month period of the summer out there. And so when our brewmaster was talking with me about what we were going to do for our first ever anniversary beer, he joked and said we ought to call it 40 Foot Drop and use at least 40 pounds of hops in it. And
he lowballed.
yeah, yeah,
It went with 45.
yeah, went with 45.
God, that sounds crazy. Let's do it.
That's so crazy. That could work.
Yeah, and it's mainly flavor
It
and
works.
aroma.
Let me
There's
tell
not
you.
a lot of bitterness in this beer, which
Oh, that's
is
delicious. If you like hops, you need to make the trip to Bryson City.
Yep.
How long will you have this one around? I mean, I imagine not
We
long.
only did 700 bottles, although I just dropped off some bottles at Brews and
$6.99
Ales.
because I've got number 455 right here. You can subtract
Yep,
this one. I've got.
Yep. So we did 700 bottles, and
So Brews and Ales has some.
Brews and Ales has some
Okay.
as of today. I don't know how long that will last. And App Vintner also has some over at their place.
And it's called For the Love of Hops. I don't know if we said that. We didn't go with 40 Foot Dry. We called it
we
For
call
the
it
Love
For
of
the
Hops.
Love of Hops,
Yeah.
4th anniversary, and I love the label. Actually, that's a fantastic label. If you
Joe
can
does
see that,
all of that design work, yeah.
that's
our logo
great.
And everything.
That's an awesome label. All the colors and everything. It really captures the mountains with the deer and the eagle, and you can see Bryson City. Actually, is that a photo or what?
Oh yeah, those are all photos.
Those are all photos in there.
It's all pictures.
That's
from
fantastic.
May.
What, mistress? Can you see that?
13.
Can you see that? Okay. All right. We've got some beer for you too, Jessica, as well. So we're not gonna. She's behind the camera. We're in front of the camera drinking.
She's doing all the hard work,
and
so we can't leave her out.
Jealous. So look up Nantahala Brewing at the Beer City Festival. Make a trip to Bryson City sometime this summer or any time of the year, quite frankly. Ride the railroad. Don't ride the railroad. Bring your bike because there's a lot of trails nearby, or as a day hike or something.
Sure.
A lot of places to launch from right near Bryson City.
Oh yeah, I mean, our brewery is roughly 2 miles from the entrance to the national park.
Fantastic.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes.
All the things. We do all the things.
They got it all. They got the social media covered. You wouldn't think by looking at the guy that he knows anything about social media.
He's heard of it, though.
Heard of it, yeah, I've heard of it. In between, drinking moonshine and beer.
By the way, that beard is only 2 weeks old. 2 weeks old. So let's drink to that.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers to Nantahala Brewing Company.